Before I was a radio talk show host, I was a blogger back in the days where, even before Facebook. As a matter of fact, I moved to Facebook because I couldn't control all of the negative content, comments that I was getting on my page, being a black conservative. Facebook gave me some control. And Facebook also gave me more reach because at the time, that's what everybody was using. By the time we rolled around to the 2016 elections, I was pulling down, 5, 10, 15 million hits per post. It was crazy. And I think that is part of the reason why President Trump got elected in 2016, because you have many other bloggers just like me out there putting out content. It was the Wild West. It was free, truly free. You had people with completely, totally opposite views. You have people with radical views, but it was okay because we believed in the First Amendment. We believed that you had actual freedom of speech. Well, it was right after the 2016 elections that you had all of the big tech people over at Google and Facebook apologizing for the election of Donald J. Trump. And at the time, I didn't really get it. What are you apologizing for? What did you do? What they were apologizing for was allowing for content to go through, content to be free. We know that now because around 2017, 2018 is when they started clamping down on conservative speech. When I saw my numbers drop, I learned about shadow banning. I learned about algorithms. I learned that if you were conservative and you were pro America First policy, if you were pro Trump, you were going to be diminished or even crushed, outright deplatformed. And that's what we've been living under for the last, 4 or 5 years. And to my shame, I say we got used to it. We were like, okay, we're going to walk on eggshells. We're going to make sure we don't get flagged. We're going to make sure that we don't get fact checked. We're going to make sure that we don't violate community standards. And that's why part of the reason, and that and outright cheating, that President Trump was not reelected in 2020. We've been living under that, under the absolute shock of President Trump being deplatformed by Twitter. And then as soon as that happened with Twitter, all the other social media giants followed suit. And now the President of the United States, the leader of the free world, doesn't have a voice on social media. That still shocks me to this day. Totally blows me away. But that was the beginning of the tech censorship that ended up controlling information, that ended up keeping the uniparty, the deep state, in place. Then comes along Elon Musk. Elon Musk, the left used to say, hey, what? It's a private company. If you don't like it, buy it. If you don't like it, start your own company. Some companies tried to. We had Parler, but then we found out that people like Apple and Google would undercut them, would not let them use their server farms, would not let them put their app on their phones. Again, deep state control, collusion between the government and big tech, the government and social media. It really is something you just can't get around. That's the power of it. And it was predicted in 1984. Along comes Elon Musk. He buys Twitter. You saw what happened for the last couple of weeks. You have the left losing their mind. You have people out there, pundits now openly calling for censorship, saying that it's the end of democracy. It's the end of the world if we allow for Elon Musk to bring back free speech to Twitter. It's really downright frightening what we are dealing with, what we realize that we have given into for so many years. The news of Elon Musk really shook up the world, shook up the status around the world. And so what do we get? Well, beside all of the fear mongering from the media, as of last Friday, Thursday and Friday, we got the Ministry of Disinformation, Department of Disinformation, better known as the Ministry of Truth. This is how desperate the Biden administration and the deep state has become. They're going to put out a government agency to police thought, to police speech. And as bold, as audacious, as totalitarian, as fascist as that is, they still found a way to completely screw it up by putting some of the most daft, stupid people in charge of it. That's what we're watching. We're watching stupid people try to control the world through statism, through authoritarianism, through fear mongering. But it's not going to work. And I don't know what's going to come of it. It could get very, very ugly, but the Biden administration is too stupid to pull it off. We realize that he's not in charge. When now we know that it's Obama in charge. He came out with his disinformation speech last week. We know that he's the puppeteer pulling the strings of the puppet Biden. And the real question is, how long will they be able to get this going? How long will they be able to keep this going? It is truly a scary time that we are in, but at the end of the day, this is the battle of the ages. Either we win this one, either we dismantle the Ministry of Truth, we dismantle all of the craziness that's going on with the Biden administration and control of information, or what? We become China. I don't speak Chinese. I'm not a communist. So let's battle.